Hey everyone, I'm G from Midwifery, and I'm here with Alan Cook from BrilliantPad. I've been sharing some information about the BrilliantPad and how much I enjoy it, and we've had some questions. So I thought the best way to get those questions answered was from the horse's mouth rather than me trying to relay the things. So Alan generously offered his time, and the floor is yours, Alan.
Thanks so much. Really excited about the your experience you've been having with BrilliantPad and appreciate some of the questions you've sent to our team. So I thought I can just take you through a few of them one by one. One of which was asking if the BrilliantPad has any sensors on the machine. And actually, the machine has two sensors. There's an infrared sensor and there's a camera. And we use that infrared sensor as a safety stop. So if the machine detects something on it and the auto advance is set to kick in, the auto advance will not begin. It's going to say, hey, there's someone here, so we're not going to start. Now, if you walk up to the machine and you physically press the button, the machine says, hey, someone's telling me what to do, and I'm going to listen. So if I physically press the button, whether there's something on the machine or not, you press the button, the motor itself is going to turn on. Now, what if we get to a different situation? The different situation is the coast is clear, the auto advance kicks in, and then someone shows up. What's not going to happen is just because something appears, the motor's not going to automatically turn off. It will continue to roll. But there's another safety mechanism built into the machine. So imagine you took your hand and stuck it into the roller while the motor was on. And we didn't stick our hand this way where your fingers could bend comfortably. Imagine we put our hand in backwards. And we do this for testing. We do it ourselves. And what you're going to feel is the paper is going to start wrapping a little bit more tightly on the paper, on your fingers. Not going to break them, not going to hurt them, but you're going to feel a little bit of compression. In most cases, that gives the animal a chance to realize, hey, there's something going on, and I need to get out. But say you didn't move your hand, and it just kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Once it gets to a certain point, it says, you know what, something not right, and it actually turns itself off. So between the sensor making sure the coast is clear and the current limiter serving as a secondary cutoff, we generally believe the machine is safe for animals and for children and whatever else may be running around your house. So, and if your foot got tangled or something, just whatever happened, again, you'll feel compression, which gives you a chance to remove, and eventually it stops itself. So I think that addresses the questions around the sensors.
Awesome.
Another question that came our way is, well, how small is small? And I think this maybe is asking what size animals work best with BrilliantPad. And on the platform, we say for dogs under 25 pounds, and that's less of a whelping situation, just more of you're not going to get a St. Bernard fully grown on the machine. You might, but for all practical purposes, there needs to be sufficient room for the dog to do its potty circle, for the dog to do its potty dance, right? So it's less about weight per se. You and I could get on the machine and jump up and down and say, look, friends, look what we're doing. The machine's going to be fine. It's a really hard question to ask. What's the turning radius of your dog? Is there enough room to move around? So we generally say approximately dogs under 25 pounds. But let's look at this in the whelping environment where even the biggest breeds, they're born small. They start small and they get bigger over time. So we do have St. Bernards and Dalmatians and other large dogs that use BrilliantPad during the puppy stage because they're born small and eventually they may outgrow it at 8 or 10 or 12 or 14 or 16 weeks. But the key thing is, what do you do from weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? In most cases, even for the largest dogs, BrilliantPad is a good solution, even for large breeds. Yep.
What about for toy breeds that have little teeny tiny puppies and getting under the cover to the pad? Yeah.
Yep. So I think there's two things. We generally encourage exposing the dogs to the BrilliantPad as young and as early as possible. Even if they're not going on it, they're going to be nestling with mom. They're kind of sort of opening their eyes. But if they see something, they're cool with it. If you wait until they get a little bit older and then bring it, now this is new. We may or may not be scared. So we generally recommend introducing BrilliantPad as soon as possible. And then you say, well, wait a second. If you introduce them when they're really small, and the puppies fit in the palm of our hand, we have an optional ramp that allows them to step up on it. So what generally happens is even the smallest of dogs can get up onto the machine. And what we find is with litters, there's usually a whole bunch of dogs on the machine at one time. And we can't guarantee the sensor is going to see each and every one, but in aggregate, it's going to pick up something. So what we find is a lot of breeders, especially when the puppies are small, to avoid the possibility of rolling when you don't want it to, they just leave the machine set in such a way that where it only advances when someone physically walks up to it and presses the button. And they wait until the dogs are a little older, a little larger before they start setting the automations.
Or you can use the app. You don't even have to physically press the button, right? You can do that from the app.
Yep. And the nice thing is, people laugh, but you can set, your phone, you can look in at any time and you can see what's on that pad. Is it clean or dirty? And you can decide to tap a button on your phone to clean remotely. And the nice thing is that means BrilliantPad is always there, even when you're not, right? So think of it, you have your litter of puppies, you got lots of stuff going on. You probably more than anything else, you want to sleep or spend time with your family, right? And if you finally can get a chance to catch your breath, you want to go play pinball or do stuff with your friends. So the nice thing is you can always rest assured your potty space is nice and clean, even if you are physically somewhere else.
Yeah, I want to make a couple of comments. I have the ramp, and it's not just some cheap plastic ramp. It's really nice. It's a very strong piece of metal. It's got wonderful traction on it, and it's a nice ramp. So I'm very happy with the ramp. We did have questions about how small is too small to run the motor puppies. So is there a size that can get under the cover, or do you just want breeders to watch the puppies and see what they do?
I really think the best thing is to watch it. We've had, hundreds of breeders and thousands of dogs. And we have exactly one report of, hey, the dog got rolled up. And, it just because the dog was yay big. And generally we say the best thing to do is when they're that small, just make sure you're there to press the button. And even in that case, it's unfortunate that it got under, but guess what? You undo the cover, puppy kind of laughs. So it's kind of like, ha ha, it wasn't like a horrible thing. So generally, if there is a point where you say, wow, these dogs, multiple dogs are going to fit in the palm of my hand, and they are the tiniest of tiny creatures, we would say when they're that small, it's really important for you to pay attention, right? You're observing, and we would recommend during that phase to you press the button, and usually when they only have to be about yay big, then they're not getting caught and stuck in anything at that point. So I think a little common sense goes a long way. Is would you trust them to be alone? Forgetting about the machine, would you trust them to be alone at all? And if the answer is no, then make sure the machine only goes when you press the button. If you're comfortable leaving them alone for a few hours at a time, that's a different story. And then at some point, you can turn the automations back on.
Well, I really like the app because it notifies me what's going on. So I can watch the puppies from bed at night. I can see how messy the pad is. And even if I don't want it to auto advance, I can just take a look at it, or it can notify me when something's going on, and I can decide to advance it then. So, you can even do a lot of this remotely. So the app is amazing. Yeah.
And the app does a couple of things. I mean, from the biggest thing is it lets you see what's going on, and you can always tap a button to advance. The machine, if you do have it turn itself on automatically, you can do it in a variety of ways after it's been used a certain number of times, or you can set a schedule at different days and times of the week. And you're going to laugh. Everyone talks about Chat GPT and AI. The app actually has something called Poop AI. And while this isn't going to be helpful for the breeder per se, this is going to be super helpful if you send the BrilliantPad home with one of your clients and the puppies, because it's going to help your pet parents pay attention to what you care about most. It'll tell them, is the pad clean or dirty? it will actually do a Bristol stool analysis and help them know if that puppy is healthy or sick. It's not a substitute for your vet, but at the end of the day, you care about the health of these creatures, and now you're giving someone a tool to actually pay attention to what you wish they would pay attention to. And we're not going to diagnose you have this disease, but we can't say something. We can't say something doesn't look right. You should pay closer attention. It's a nice prompt for them to call you, call your vet, do something proactive to prevent a small issue from becoming a big one.
Super, super. We had a question about grates.
Yep.
You know, if they could put a grate over it, or if it's needed, or some thoughts on that maybe?
Yeah, that came up. I think the bigger question is, why might someone want to put a grate over the pad? We were told that the different reasons generally was we don't want the puppies tearing up the paper. And if there's a grate over the paper, then the paper is protected and more resistant to being torn to shreds. No one wants to have all the little pieces of paper. So we created something called a unicover that goes over not just the clean roll and the dirty roll, but all four edges of the machine. And that holds down the edges of the paper, and it makes it strongly resistant to tearing and pulling by the puppies. So I'll send you a video that's from one of our breeders from their security camera, where you see four puppies chewing and going at it, and it holds everything down. And this unicover is really a three-part system. There's a cover that covers all four edges, but there's also an anti-slip mat under the pad. And think if you ever put like an area rug on a hardwood floor or a tile floor, you don't want the area rug to slide around. So you put a little rubber mat and it kind of keeps it in place. So we're using those same principles. And then the other thing is, we were told, well, that's great. The paper's not, can't be pulled out by the dogs as easily on the sides. But they went to the clean roll area and they pulled everything out and said, ha, look what I did. So we have, in that situation, there's actually a locking mechanism that if you have really curious and rambunctious puppies, you can put this lock in place that prevents the paper from moving. It's like it's in security lockdown mode. So in that case, when you want to advance the paper, you have to, one, release the lock. Two, tap the button on the app or the button on the machine and lock it back down. But you don't need a different unicover. The same unicover that holds the edges has a locked mode and an unlocked mode. And this was based on the feedback we got from breeders really over the last 12 months. And we had to go through 5 or 6 different iterations of this cover and locking mechanism to ensure that it works well for most breeders. So now that we've solved paper being ripped to shreds by the puppies, we go back to, what do you need the grate for? If it's to prevent the paper from being pulled and shredded, we have another solution that does it. And then you don't have to worry about, getting the stuff off the grate and all the waste to go with it.
Yeah, so my puppies did try to worry at it even with the cover, but you with the breeder kit, you sent the deterrent spray. And
Yes.
I put that on for once or twice, and then they didn't do it anymore. So that was.
And I think what's nice, there's 3 sprays, one's like an attractant, and we think like green light, and the green light, and then red, like think of a green light, red light. Spray this where you want the dog to go, and spray the opposite one where you want to stay away. And of course, there's also an enzymatic cleaner. We all know accidents are going to happen. It's part of life. But the nice thing about the enzymatic cleaner is it really does a good job of getting rid of the odors. And again, you guys do so much washing and cleaning. It's probably less valuable for the breeder, more valuable for your clients, that when the dog goes home, it's really important to clean up accidents promptly, not to yell and scare the dog because they don't know what we're yelling about. But at the same time, we don't want the accident spot to become the potty spot. So this training kit has 3 sprays with the attractant, the bitter repellent, and the enzymatic cleaner.
Yeah, and they work really well. So yeah, I've been really happy with it. I've got a litter on it now. They're doing great. And I love how cleanable it is. I'm a microbiologist and biochemist by trade, and I'm all about cleaning. And It's really well thought out where you can just, with the twist of one button, I can remove the electronic component and then wash everything else. I can wash the base and wash the cover, and it's fabulously thought out. You guys did a great job.
Thank you. And it's really nice that God forbid anything like happens to the unit and we need to replace something under warranty. Instead of sending this big bulky thing, we just have this small module. So it's a really nice way to support maintenance. And as you say, with one easy twist of a green knob, you can remove it. You can hose and wash everything down. Don't have to worry about any electronics getting, the wrong way. And then when you're done, stick the module back in and lock it down. So it's a really nice design, and it's functional and supports cleaning and safety.
Yeah, I can tell you worked with a number of breeders on this just by the way it functions and how it's actually useful for us. So thank you so much for your time, Alan. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. And again, any more questions, you can there's information at the BrilliantPad website. And as the next round of questions came up, we're more than happy to chat with you.
One more thing, I bet there are some breeders out there that might be interested in your affiliate program for their puppy families. Do you want to just mention that?
Yes, so there's a couple of things. We provide breeders with affiliate links and coupon codes to share with our clients. And every time they buy, a machine is purchased through that affiliate link, the breeder gets compensated both on the machine, and they get a percentage of rebuy. So there's a chance to build an annuity with a passive income stream over time. And then the other thing is, a lot of breeders came back to us and said, hey, I shared all the information with my clients, told them why this is such a good thing. And they told me, of course, my breeders buy what I tell my clients buy what I tell them to buy, but gee whiz, they didn't buy it. And they're like, no, I'm really disappointed because I really want the dog to go home with a BrilliantPad. So we set them up with, we created the preferred ordering page where the breeder can go to this website, type in the name and address of their client, and then we will drop ship the machine to the client. So you don't have to worry about inventory and all the rest of it. We'll charge a credit card at a discounted rate compared to like the regular purchase price. And then what breeders are doing is charging, getting the full payment when someone comes to pick up the puppy. And not only are they getting more margin compared to what you would get using the affiliate link, they're saying, I just spent time training your puppy. And if you took your dog to Petco or PetSmart to take puppy training classes, or you hire whomever you do, you're going to spend a lot of money on that. So they're monetizing not just the machine and getting margin on the BrilliantPad stuff. They are essentially getting paid for all the hard work and training that you're providing. In some cases, they're even commanding a higher premium on their dogs. So we have an affiliate link that you can share it with your old customers and say, if you're using puppy pads, why don't you upgrade to BrilliantPad? You can share it with your new customer saying, I've trained your dog on BrilliantPad. It's been trained on BrilliantPad. And I'm not going to promise your dog is coming home potty trained, but if you continue what I've started, this will be the fastest path to potty training success. And then a lot of people have graduated from the affiliate link to our preferred ordering program, and they're sending every dog home with a BrilliantPad. Don't have to worry about breakage and people not following through. Get more margin, not just on the machine, but also monetizing the training.
Awesome. And how do people sign up for this?
Everything is on the BrilliantPad website. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, there is a link that says affiliate, or where does it say affiliate? And that's where they can sign up. So go to brilliantpad.com, scroll to the bottom, and click on affiliate.
Super. Thank you, Alan.
Hey, this is fantastic. Thank you, G.
Okay, bye-bye.